I have 5,000 hours in Ark Survival Evolved, Ark Ascendant's older brother. But I stopped playing Ark Evolved when it left me a hollow shell, but I have done my rehab. I've been on the straight and narrow for about 2 years, so I had to take some big breaths before tightening the rubber band around my upper arm and sinking that Ark needle back into those juicy survival veins. And here I'm going to bring you my reflections on my psychedelic trip back into Ark Ascendant. A trip that has had spectacular moments intermixed with cheap stand-up comic jokes. And as of February 2025, you can pick up Ark Ascendant on Steam for about US $40 odd, give or take. But you'll see it on special from time to time for much cheaper than that. And of course, you may be wondering, is it worth your hard-earned dinero? So here is a quickfire, no bullshit review. It has mixed reviews on Steam, and those have stuck like flies to T-Rex shit since launch in late 2023, I think it was. But let's cover the real basics of what you're going to get with this purchase, and you are going to get the following: the island map, the home of Ark and all original deaths, the centre, which is my personal favourite, Scorched Earth, the future landscape of LA, and many other places I suspect. Arboration, the Down Under map, which resonates with Australians and New Zealanders, and Extinction, the ultimate map of the Ark apocalypse, where zombies are replaced with weird purple dinos that materialise out of thin air and love eating bases. You also get the option to play single player or multiplayer on official servers, both PvP or PvE, and unofficial servers, of course, where you will often be required to install mods, which are a lot easier to download nowadays if somewhat sizable, some of them that is. On that note, if you have a PC or other device with a challenged hard drive space, Ark may not be the game for you. It is one chunky monkey install file of at least 200 gig, and I mean at least that. I've read threads of people saying it took close to 300 gig. The maps are big and they need to be downloaded, making for a step-mum heifer of a file. There are several pay-for DLCs, but these are not required to play the core game, and I'll inappropriately touch on those in a little bit. So the main topics I'm going to cover off here are: know what you're getting yourself into. That is an odd heading, I get, but well, it'll make sense to you when you listen to it. Snail games, a little mini focus there, and people do love talking about those sneaky fellas. The graphics, what it means for you, the maps, the general gameplay, is it good, single player, multiplayer gameplay, DLCs, and my final comments. So what are you getting yourself into? Well, it is a big and absorbing game, and a game formula that has stood the test of time despite the owner's Snail Games. Yes, when they bought out the developers Wildcard Studios many years ago, the game became one cash-seeking cow. With scant regard for the community, basically they chase the money and shit all over the community quite routinely. And when it comes to pursuing profit, Snail Games is nothing like its name. These devs feel like slimy politicians, and I often think they're like politicians who smile at you, give your baby a kiss, and tell you they value your vote, while knowing they have already signed the permissions to put a highway through your house. Then perhaps, and this is what I do kind of think about this lot, they go back to their limo and are doing lines of coke and having a great laugh about what an idiot you are. There have been countless videos on the behaviour of this Chinese-run company that owns the Ark franchise, and the point-blank obvious scams, cheats and shocking behaviour over the years. If you complained about the terrible state of the game, the relentless cheaters, then they banned you. If you pointed out that they banned you for no good reason, they would sometimes wipe your account, and at times your whole tribe on a server. Lodge a ticket about cheapers meshing in the previous version of the game, no answer, complain about it, and you'd be banned. They would even play on official servers. I do not bullshit you on this. They would play on official servers themselves in big mega tribes, dominating servers, meaning the community, that's you lot, and directly cheat against other players using their administrative rights, including rolling back servers when they had been wiped or similar. Complain about it all, banned. Ark is how this company makes money, perhaps 80% of their revenue, and it is extraordinary that they've got away with this. How, you may ask? Well, simply, Ark players really, really love the game and just soldier on. The game is a success despite Snail Games. Has it got better? Perhaps. But I also know that some YouTubers who crusaded against the developers have now simply given up. My PC is 3 years old, give or take, with an RTX 3070, plenty of RAM, good processor, so a decent card and a pretty decent machine. Not the latest of the latest, but pretty good. I'd hesitate to say far gruntier than many people's, and I really struggled with Ark Ascendant's game performance. Unless you have a hell of a machine, you are going to have to spend a lot of time tweaking the graphic settings to get your game running relatively smoothly. I shit you not, I spent hours and hours trying to get it working properly. And even then the smoothness I achieved was questionable. Ark Ascendant is clearly a long way from being properly optimized. And I think for many people the game will simply be near unplayable. This is not Unreal Engine 5's fault, it is the coding driving the game and lack of dedication to optimize performance. But if you have a machine that could host Skynet software, then the game looks stunning. This is the best I can get the game on my PC to run and keep it going pretty smooth. It's not bad, but I guess I can't help but feel I was a bit ripped off knowing that I should have been seeing and enjoying the visuals more, and am probably not due to lazy programming. All the maps are remodels of the previous Ark Evolved maps. I didn't play them all, just the Island, Scorched Earth and Extinction. They look very good. Visually, they are significantly better than Ark Evolved. The maps are sizable, we get a real sense of exploration, depth and height and danger as you explore them. They show good map design, but they're not perfect. In each of the maps I saw lazy design all over, and there still is today. There were rock assets just slapped down with no effort to mold them to terrain, and these are really obvious. You watch lots of YouTubers, you're going to see it all over the place. Any game tester would see this stuff within minutes, and I'm still shocked there's been no effort to smooth these out. It's a joke. This all points again to some of the problems. They produce something, and where it isn't good enough, they provide little attention to fixing the issue as they're already ploughing forward or being forced to plough forward with the next product to earn more dollars, and they just don't address the issues at hand. Some of the graphical mesh issues were bad. That's capital letters, by the way, with the word bad. With key points covered in the mesh, again, any game tester would pick this up fast. Many times you'd come across dinos stuck completely in the mesh. That was really common, and it's just not good that a game is released and continues to be released with such obvious and fixable issues in them. So it's hard to call on this. I love the maps, 95% of them is brilliant, but they could be better if the devs just took a little more care. This is where Ark Ascendant shines, and Ark simply always has. Compared to many survival games, the scope of the game and what you can do and how much it absorbs you is breathtaking. Focusing on the single player or PvE world here, you spawn into the world, and if you're new to the game, the environment is brutal, raptors mince you, in fact everything it does, you will die over and over. Your survival world will just be a tiny part of the map as you slowly build up and gain XP. What lies beyond that ridge that you can see just there will remain a mystery for some time, and it's just too dangerous to venture out early. And then over time, you tame a few dinos and the game starts to shift. You will venture further, seeking the better materials, and again the challenges here are big, and of course you will not just battle the environment but the dinos. You will flee from them, kill them, tame them, and always seek the highest tame that you can find. You're going to build up your base, and if you know what you're going to do, you're going to start breeding dinos. And remember, in Ark, parent dinos love having sex with their kids to make super kids. That is the secret to success. And then you're going to start making kibble, which of course requires farming. Then you're going to start to think about the end of the game, seek the right dinos, right gear, all to take on the perilous caves, get the artifacts, to summon a boss, blah 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 blah. And then if you add in PvP, well, the game shifts, say to small tribes or solo, hiding and hunting or stamping authority on a map. It feels endless. Sound is excellent, it's compelling, and the whole gameplay in Ark Ascendant, well, it is brilliant. And in Ark Evolved, it was great, and it continues to be in Ascendant. On Ark Evolved, single player felt rough and unfinished. It used to crash all the time for me, but on Ascendant I only had a couple of crashes after many hours of gameplay. It felt quite stable. Just don't forget to save your game a lot mid-game, as there's no server doing that for you. Single player feels like a legitimate way to play the game now. You can tweak a lot of the settings. It is easier also nowadays with the ability to tame babies, and babies also providing prime meat. So that taming process for a number of different things has got easier, and it's going to appeal to a broader scope of people. I did feel the performance of the game was less on single player than when on multiplayer server, probably as my PC was carrying all the load, so do be conscious of that. If you've not played Ark before, you should definitely play single player before jumping into any PvP or multiplayer servers, especially with PvP. The approach to the game is very different. Put it this way, I tried to play multiplayer over and over and had partial success. I found my connection, despite having really good pings, very unstable, with me often getting kicked from servers or rubber banding due to some connection issue. I tried a lot of different servers and had large amounts of problems with a number of them. I obviously did get on and do some gameplay. Perhaps I got a bit unlucky, but I don't think so. Nonetheless, multiplayer is great. PvE, you will see communities on a server, with most people being quite welcoming, but with PvP, of course, you get quite a different experience. Straight out of the den on the Steam page, there are several DLCs that you will have to pay for. These will introduce new skins, vehicles into the game, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And in the core game itself, you will see many of these unlocks, which are actually DLCs, which urge you to buy the packs. When I started playing Ark Ascended, and it was a rough start trying to get the game running smoothly, but once I ironed that out and settled back into the game, I quickly fell into the old rhythm, and I did enjoy it. The maps are better now, the dinos, the fauna, everything looks much better despite that lazy design. It feels like a friendlier game and not as brutal as the original, even though I went through a phase of dying over and over. I guess everyone does in Ark. There are also all the signs in Ark Ascendant of what Ark 2 may be, if that ever comes out. If it does, it will move definitely towards a cooperative, clearer, story-driven Ark. It will be a softer game. Why? Well, it just appeals to people longer. Ark Ascended is still hard. Try taming a Reaper. There's nothing easy in being able to do this, but some aspects are certainly easier. In recent months, I've also watched a lot of other Ark YouTubers playing ASA, and the glitches in the game are very common. Dinos stuck under the mesh, things dropping through the mesh, map glitches, and many other things that make you want to bash those devs around the head. But the Ark compelling game dynamic for the average player is still there, perhaps even enhanced. Look, how I even enjoyed Ark Ascendant, probably too much despite all the obvious flaws, and I know the warning signs, so after taking that long psychedelic trip back into Ark that went on for many weeks, I uninstalled the game to maintain my sanity. And in this context, uninstalling the game told me, all things considered, it was not bad, maybe even a bit better than that, maybe even good, despite all the efforts of the owners to destroy the franchise. Ark Ascendant is alright. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. Until the next chapter.